Hello and welcome to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. It is, what day is it? It is Monday, the 21st of September, 2020. I am your host, the amazing Super Chris. I'm going to have Nokasuchi the Rage from the Raging Atheist YouTube channel here, and Andy Hall from the Laughing in Disbelief blog over on Pathos. They're going to join me in just a second. We're going to talk about the loss of Miss Ruth Bader Ginsburg, as well as where we go from here right after this.
Life is complicated. These are trying times. There are many questions that need answering. Want to know what's going to help? Atheism. With atheism, you'll get rid of dogma, superstitions, and toxic thought patterns that are holding you back. You can drive while taking atheism, as well as use heavy machinery. In fact, drinking alcohol, fornicating, and Sunday mornings are far more enjoyable with atheism. However, there are side effects. Some evangelicals and fundamentalists will think you are possessed by the devil. But you don't have to worry, because you know the devil isn't real. Just like God. Wake up to your life. Believe in yourself. Believe in science. Atheism.
It's going to pop to all three of us. All right, good morning, guys. I love the atheist commercial. If you're not an atheist and you're wondering, is atheism for me? Go back and watch that commercial. You can do atheism no matter where you are. Yeah, thank you, Andy Hall, for the commercial. Good morning, Andy. How are you doing?
When will it stop? 2020, go away. Go away.
Go away, 2020. That's true. Yeah.
Oh.
So, and this is probably something that the people on the right, I guess, love to hear, but the last 4 years have been a liberal's nightmare. A progressive's nightmare, which is also bad for the country, by the way. It's literally, they're literally destroying our country. But as long as liberals are pissed, as long as liberals are upset, this is what we get after 4 years of Trump rule and the conservatives, where the lies and the power plays and all that crap. This is what we get. 4 years. And now, to top it all off, as if it weren't bad enough, RGB leaves us just before the election, just enough to make it more contentious than it already was. You were thinking the other day, you were probably driving along going, how could this world be more fucked up than it is now? How could it get more contentious? That's our one cuss word for the show. I used it. Sorry. Andy, I'll let you have one later. Anyway, how could it get worse? And then I opened my thing and I'm like, oh, Ruth Bader Ginsburg died. But, no point in my brain did I go, well, Mitch McConnell's a good and honest soul. And whenever Scalia died in an election year, in like February of that election year, he wouldn't he blocked, did everything the conservatives, the corrupt conservatives who care more about their own power than they do about the Constitution and how our country works, blocked it all for 8 months, 10 months. And then, they finally got their own Brett Kavanaugh in there. And
they went as far as accusing Obama of killing Scalia.
Yeah, no surprise, right? So they did all that, and now, but their whole deal was it was an election year and the primaries had already started, so they shouldn't really do another job. But so I was sitting there thinking, surely good, honest, and noble Mitch McConnell will go, you know what? We're this close to the election. There's no way we're going to do this because. No, I didn't really think that. Not for a second. Not for a second did I think Mitch McConnell and the Republicans were going to pause. Yeah. And was I wrong? No, they just, it was heinous. It was, I want to say disrespectful.
It's not just Mitch McConnell. It's all of them. It's all of those people. They were all saying Obama shouldn't get it. And now they're all just jumping up and down in joy, celebrating the death of this woman. Yeah.
Right. They're making excuses as to why they should break their own rule. Oh, well, Trump has had a contentious presidency, therefore he should be allowed to wait. That's bullshit. Obama didn't have a contentious presidency. They didn't have 8 years of contention with Obama. No matter what he does, we're not going to support him, even if it's good for the country. Direct words from Mitch McConnell. And they lived by that and they worked by that for 8 years. So Obama, you know what? Obama should get a third term. Yeah. They were burning his effigies and they were doing all this. Sure, yeah, he should get it because that's what Trump's people are already saying.
Oh, yeah.
So how did you guys first hear the news? How did?
I was at work and I saw it on my feed, and I'm like, my brain didn't want to accept it. I put my phone right back in my pocket. It took me a good 20 minutes before I took it back out, and I'm just like, damn.
Damn, son of the bitch.
I would have preferred the meteor coming to destroy the earth, I think.
Yeah. The wife was, me and the wife were out driving around, and she was inside a store, and I was in the car in the parking lot, the car park, if you're English. And I looked down to yonder phone, and I was like, oh, man. And I didn't want to tell her because I knew it was just going to, my wife, yeah. She has been fully prepared to donate my liver to Ruth Bader Ginsburg if she needed it. The wife has offered several times that she was gladly part with my liver. So, but you know what, guys? I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude, because I know, man, this is such a wonderful topic, shitty topic, horrible topic, unfortunate topic. It's such a topic, but I want to say hi to everybody in the damn nation. Good morning, everybody over here in the damn nation. Hi, nice to have you this morning. Julie LaVoice, Trina DeLuca. Good morning, Trina Hugs. Inquisitive Quandary. Hey, good morning. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. There's actually lots of people here. My little counter. One day I decided, you know what? This counter thing up in the top left is not right. I'm going to have to move it because it's kind of on the thing. So I moved it just on one scene. I thought, you know what, that doesn't work. So I moved it back, and ever since then, it doesn't work. So, there's a whole bunch of people, despite that lying bastard counter up there.
Shakes fisted counter.
Good morning. Thanks, Andy. I need to get that Skycam back. Dr. Osiris, just wonderful, lots of people. Brainbug, thank you all for joining us this morning. And we also broadcast live to about 18 or 19 Facebook pages and groups. Good morning to everybody who watches on Facebook and to the people who listen live on the Daily Atheist Morning Show podcast. Good morning to everybody. Thank you for joining us. I hope you had a wonderful and safe weekend. And it's unfortunate. We lost Miss Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and the corrupt Republicans are absolutely going to do what they can to seize power. And, I've heard there's this notion going around that part of the deal is the reason why Trump is so keen to get this in is because Trump wants to get the Supreme Court justice in there, because when the election is contested, when he contests the election and it goes to the Supreme Court, he wants it loaded with right-wing justices. So, I get that. But just because they're right-wing, and just even because they may be against abortion and they may be all this, does not mean that they're not Americans. Does not mean they're corrupt. And it does not mean that if he puts them up on the Supreme Court that they will support him no matter what, especially if his Russian ties come out or any of the corruption that he has going on comes out. It doesn't necessarily guarantee that they will fall in line.
Well, and so far we've seen a little bit from Kavanaugh and Gorsuch that they won't just fall in line with him. I'm more concerned. What I'm hearing right now is Trump wants to put a woman. He wants to,
easily.
He's really afraid that he's in trouble with women in the polls, and that this might be what actually helps him get ahead of Joe now if he can put a woman on the Supreme Court.
Well, what it also does, it gets the narrative. It gets the news cycle off of coronavirus.
Yeah.
And this is the only reason why Trump is losing right now is because of coronavirus. So if he can distract people's attention with the Supreme Court issue, it stands to reason he's going to go up in the polls a bit.
And it was handed to him on a silver platter, because this is, you're going to get the attention of the right and the left with this. The left are up in arms. We're ready to fight,
Well, it's about time. Yeah, it's nice.
Yep. I was looking for a meme. There was this meme I saw on the internet. I hate to reference a meme, but I couldn't even find the meme to show you the meme, the lying, disgusting filth but it really, essentially what it was a list of things that rights that women have thanks to Miss Ginsburg.
Actually, there's a really good show on Amazon Prime right now, or a good documentary called RBG. And I'm sure you can stream it from other places too, but I just saw it the other day. Definitely worth your hour and a half to 2 hours.
Yeah, I was supposed to be we're having a watch party with Kitty the Atheist, and I totally forgot about it. And I think she must have forgot to message me. But yeah, we were going to try to watch that again right now. But outside of women issues, I mean, she was one of our first real champions for gender equality.
Sure
and it's what really propelled her into the national limelight. And it made her a hero of mine when I first started advocating for gender equality in my early 20s. So she's been a hero of mine for a very long time.
Yeah.
Well, I'm curious. We do have Miss Trina in the thing, and she has voted before, as far as the poll goes, that Ruth should be, or that the seat should be filled beforehand. I'm curious as to why, because I mean, again, not every. There was reasoning as to why they didn't fill it with Gorsuch before. The excuse they gave was it was too close to an election, and it was in February of that year. Now, if that was good enough then, why is it fair for them to, I mean, I'm talking to Miss Trina specifically, why is it fair for them to get to replace that seat before the election now, a month before the election?
I'll answer because I personally agree. I think constitutionally, the president has that power. It's one of his major powers. I think that the Republicans went against the Constitution when they did what they did to Obama, and we were screaming that. I'm consistent with it. I would like to see some consistency from the Republicans and not be such hypocrites and stand on the ground that they stood on 4 years ago. But constitutionally speaking, I think the president has the right to choose his nominee.
They're the ones who actually should be standing, and they should have stood last time. They're the ones, if there's nothing about right or honesty here, it's all about power.
As Herodotus, the father of the father of history, said, "The strong do what they will, the weak suffer what they must," and we are living in that time right now.
Yeah, I think I'm.
Well, yeah, in my case, and I'm right on board. They should not nominate a U.S. Supreme Court, so I want to put that out there, because they set that standard 4 years ago.
Yeah,
they did that.
That's right. They actually did. Matter of fact, have you seen the video of Lindsey Graham going, "Use this against me"?
Yeah.
But now the whole deal is now they're making excuses as to why they shouldn't have to be held to that standard. Oh, it's been a tough election year. Oh, all the investigations. Oh, all of this, or whatever their excuses are. But they shouldn't be allowed to have that because this is their doing. They did that. They're supposed to represent America. Mm-hmm. Now I get that they kind of represent the moneyed side of America more than they do actually, but they're still supposed to represent America. Is America not honest? Are we dishonest we are? Aren't
we? People are not consistent with their politics. It's all about being on the right team.
At least they used to try to cover it.
Well, it was. I mean, I'm not saying anything new, but we live in a much more partisan country than we did 20 years ago or 30 years ago.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And that kind of gives rise to this kind of hypocrisy.
Mm-hmm. Well, and they're blatant about it.
Mitch McConnell needs to go. That's just all there is to it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I wish I could vote for McGrath. She's not even my type of Democrat. Like that would be like a Christmas present. Let me vote for. That's who I want to vote for.
Well, Rage, I heard that if you just write a postcard and send it in the mail, you can do that. That's what I've heard.
I've heard these things too.
Well, once you're done voting in your home state, just drive over there anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the advice. All right, anybody watching the show, obviously, I don't really mean that. Now, you notice Trump never said that, though. Whenever he's telling the entire state of North Carolina to go vote at home via mail, and then go vote. Go down to the poll and check to see if your vote has been tallied. Like, that's not the way to do that. That's just going to cause confusion. They're intentionally trying to kill this vote. Yeah. Conservatives. Why are they doing that? Why? If you're an honest conservative, why would you do that? Why would you need to do that?
Well, I think they stopped playing honest politics a long time ago, and Democrats didn't, and Democrats have paid the price for it. They've gerrymandered their way into owning national politics for 20 years, and Democrats let them do it. We're starting to fix that now through the court systems, which is a big reason why they're pushing to corrupt the court systems in the last 4 years. So, I mean, America's in trouble. And again, this is why, like, whatever you think about Biden, you got to vote for the man.
You got to get over that shit. Yeah. Get over that shit. Yeah. True enough. Let's see how our deal is going here. Our little poll. Looks like just 1-1 so far. Sometimes, you know how it is with our polls. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't work. I've seen other people who have voted. But I guess technically, constitutionally speaking, yes, they could anytime they want, or should be able to anytime they want. That's understandable. But these are the same people who said for X, Y, and Z, they should not be allowed to. Now they're not living up to their own rules.
Yep. Yep. Well, the silver lining in this horrible tornado firestorm of crap is that I sent you guys the link to this article about Democrats raising $91 million after the death of Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Let's check and see.
That's one little bright light here. This is from what Global News, which I've seen this story replicated in different areas too. So this isn't just some crazy talk online. Democratic donors smashed fundraising records after the death on Friday of U.S. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, funneling more than $90 million to candidates and progressive groups in just over 24 hours. As Democrats and Republicans brace for a nomination fight that has upended the November presidential election, the online fundraising organization Act Blue said grassroots donors gave U.S. $91.4 million to Democratic candidates and causes in 28 hours after 8 p.m. Friday, around the time the news of Ginsburg's death broke. So, if you got pennies, if you got a couple of shekels, if you got some shekels to share, maybe throwing some towards, some progressive groups would be a nice thing,
Actually, I saw that, and I thought by the time we get to this point today, this morning, it would probably certainly be over 100 million.
It is over 100 million. I saw another article today, and I said it's over 100 million. Yeah.
Yep. So sure.
Well,
go ahead, Rach.
Well, I was just going to say, I think it speaks to, the left. When I first heard of the news, and we had an open room live stream, and I brought on a few people so we could kind of mourn together, shoot the shit together, hopefully feel better together. And I was very down in the dumps. Like, this is it. This is over. This is going to get that hashtag down ballot movement on the progressive side even more steam. But what I'm seeing is this has really activated the left, and the left is starting to unify around this. And that I didn't predict that happening.
No, well, it's the fog of war that we're in. So you don't know what's going to happen, and this is circular logic until it happens. And then all of a sudden, it's like people are unifying around the death of RBG. And in this moment, 4 years ago, you couldn't talk to a lot of Democrats and get them energized over Supreme Court seats.
Yeah.
Right. No.
Now that the wolf is at the door, or several wolves are at the door, at least a lot of us are waking up to the imminent peril of having a 6-3 court.
Well, we had this thing where we they weren't motivated by what was going to happen with the Supreme Court because, the Republicans weren't that bad, or so they weren't. But they were no longer dealing with actual Republicans. They were dealing with the Tea Party. The Tea Party Republicans are not the same as Republicans that I see in my head. It's like I think of good Republicans, good, noble, honest Republicans. Those are what I consider old guard Republicans. We differ on money and certain social issues, but not so much. We often could agree on these things and work together. Tea Party Republicans are just shitback crazy, very tied to religion, and they don't give a shit about honesty, truth, nothing. They lie, they scheme, they corrupt. Am I wrong? Anybody say I'm wrong? That's what the right has been. The right politically, like the governors, the senators, has been completely overtaken with Tea Party Republicans.
Yeah. And now it's getting worse. Now a lot of the Tea Party Republicans are part of that Lincoln Project, and now we have QAnon Republicans.
Oh yeah,
and now we have the QAnon Republicans. So and that doesn't help. And a lot of this is stirred by outside forces on purpose. On purpose. Our country is being driven mad.
Well, yeah, Joe Walsh was that typical Tea Party Republican that I can almost guarantee nobody in this room could stand. And then when for the 2 weeks, he actually ran against Donald Trump, I was, please let Joe Walsh, I will take Joe Walsh, a man I hated 3 years ago,
Right. And this is a comment from Trina DeLuca. Let's see. Yes, well, we agree on that. I suspect that we did, because there are a lot of good people out there who are conservatives who don't want X, Y, and Z. They don't want all their money thrown to things that they feel are frivolous.
Well, when I try to talk to my conservative brothers and sisters, I try to use conservative arguments to point out that what they are doing is actually undermining the republic. So there are liberal arguments that you can use to help radicalize to radicalize Democrats into actually getting off their butts and getting out into the streets. And then there are arguments that you use for conservatives to help them realize that what they are doing is digging the grave of the republic.
Yeah. And, good morning, Amy Hogan. We got a lot of people showing up in the chat. Thank you for joining us. Jedzia Dax. Always love me some Jedzia Dax. Nice to have you along. KCA Anthony, Randy, KCA Anthony, KC. Good morning, Randy. Nice to have you with us. We've got a lot of things. Amy Hogan says, yes, it's getting a lot worse. The QAnon conspiracy theorists are trying to take over. The inmates are trying to take over the asylum. And I refer to it, that dog wagging the tail, or the tail wagging the dog, this small group of people doing things that make the whole big group of people do something that they want them to do. And, one of the things about this QAnon, I mean, they're using be against pedophilia wrong on purpose to bludgeon their message into the people. And that's wrong. It's screwing up the actual message. It's like detectives are surrounding a Pizza Hut because there's a basement full of children, instead of really, and there's no basement full of children. There's no basement full of children because this is just a bunch of shit. Yeah. But there's really children out there that really need help.
Yeah.
And the attention is being taken away from that by these QAnon conspiracy nutters.
Yeah, you try to tell the people that get caught up into it too, like, know the truth and know what you're putting out there, and that yes, this looks great, but this is a misinformation. And you try to tell people that, well, now you support child pedophilia, of course. So I mean, right. it's getting real. The waters of America aren't just muddy. I mean, we're talking pitch black suffocation levels of being drowned by all the misinformation out there.
And we'll have Lola Ray on the show this week, and she's actually got TikTok. And one of the deals was she was going, wait, this QAnon thing, anti-pedophilia thing is not right. And then they started attacking her. They've been going after her. She's now defending pedophiles, is what they're calling her, and all of this thing. And she's over on TikTok, and so she'll be joining us this week.
You think about historically speaking about the Japanese panic after the bombing of Pearl Harbor. That was just a cash grab by the government and by a lot of businesses on the West Coast. They just seized property, kicked people off into the camps. The Satanic Panic, just using there to rally the right-wing troops during the 80s, selling books, part of the whole Christo-industrial complex. And what we're seeing now, it's just another moral panic orchestrated by the right, by theocrats or would-be theocrats to rally their troops.
Yeah. Again, it's a shameless power grab. And whenever we have an election and the people, because of the horror that this man has rendered upon our country over these past 4 years, and the GOP and all this other stuff, the turnout for voting is going to be larger. I believe you now have a motivated Democratic base. Now you also have a good part of the ones who didn't vote last time who are going, shit, I need to vote. So
2018 was a huge year.
Whenever the Republicans get blown out, the conservatives, at least Trump, whenever he loses because of the vote, he's going to contest it. And whenever it goes up to the Supreme Court, who's going to be on that Supreme Court? That's the key. Yeah. He's expecting to, whenever he gets it contested, so we may be forced upon us via the Supreme Court, because of RGB's death, we may have 4 more years of Trump at least. That would be the very beginning, because there's no guarantee he won't be out after that.
Yeah. Well, and I've mentioned this before, but all you have to do is look at 2000, a much less partisan bench than what we're going to be looking at this time. Voted in favor of George W. Bush, voted against democracy and making sure every vote counted. And that was more of a moderate bench. Yeah. We're facing an extreme bench for the first time in a really long time. So yeah, I mean this could be the issue. Trump could be nominating the person that hands him the White House.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Black Power. Good morning, Black Power. It's probably P. Mars, but
probably
if you're not, sorry. Wants to know what the Tea Party stands for. You know what? The Tea Party is supposed to be taxed enough already, I believe, is what it was originally supposed to stand for.
It's white supremacy and oligarchy. I don't think you have to be.
No, the Tea Party in its roots was supposed to be bipartisan. It was supposed to be against corrupt government, and it became what Andy said: a bunch of racists that hates black people.
Funded by the Koch brothers. I don't think you get more oligarchy than that.
No,
come on, yeah.
And, I don't know, George Soros though.
George Soros, right.
Yeah. Well, that's what we were having. I think me and my friend Mike were having this conversation the other day, and they're like, "What's George Soros? Who cares? What is George?" George Soros, man, brother George. Listen, buddy, my check has not arrived, and I could use my check. I'm an atheist. I'm spreading the liberal nutbaggery. I could use my money. I want my money. Anyway, what does George Soros do? So I don't know what he does, but let me ask you this. Why doesn't, because the right is powerfully rich. They clearly have unlimited funds. If you listen to my craziness, not only do they have unlimited funds paid for by the corrupt politicians and business people on the right in the United States, that alone is almost unlimited funds. But then we also have, if you listen to my craziness, Russian funds coming in.
I want to speak to something that Casey Atheist Randy said, is that Roberts is going to be the swing vote, and we're all in trouble paraphrasing what he said. But it's actually worse than that, because you need now 2 swing votes. You need 2 people from the other side to agree with liberal justices, assuming it's a 6-3 court.
Well, and Roberts has basically been the swing vote since Kennedy stepped down. So now we're going even farther right. And I mean, woman or not, you can rest assured Donald Trump is going to get a far right extremist in the court.
But real quick, before we get too far away from where I was trying to go, was George Soros. Does George Soros own CNN? Why don't the people on the right who own Fox and all that, why don't they buy out MSNBC? And then start pumping the same message? Why don't they buy out CNN? Why don't they buy out these bad fake news? Why? And I think I could be wrong. I wonder if Soros owns those and will not allow them to be bought out, and that's his sin.
Well, I know like CNN's owned by Time Warner. So we're talking does
George
our
Soros
media
own Time Warner though? That's kind of what percent. That's the question I need to know. Why do they not like him?
Well,
Boogeyman.
Here's the problem when you're going to have oligarchy funneling money to these things. Oligarchy is not left. Left is against oligarchy. So of course, I mean, they're not going to be on our side. They're going to be on their own, and they're going to have their corporate narrative.
Yeah, so I was just curious as to why. I mean, we were talking about Soros and how he did bad things. So I was just curious as to why. All right, Andy, you were talking.
I don't even know what George Soros does. Honestly,
that's right. That's why I'm like, why are they against him?
He supports a bunch of liberal causes throughout the world.
Yeah, but I'm like, business wise, I mean, how does he get all of his? I don't know.
I don't know. I believe he is a self-made multi-billionaire. I believe he grew up in Nazi-occupied Austria or Germany.
I think it was Austria, but I could be wrong. Yeah.
And like a lot of people who came out of that scenario, I mean, I know a guy whose dad came over here who was in the camps, came over here and made his money in women's underwear. He just was a haberdasher and just made a ton of money in clothing after the war. So, it was definitely a strain of people who did that.
Well, yeah, and after World War II, there was a huge. I mean, America was the only market left.
So. Yeah, we were 50, yeah.
Somebody says Soros made his. Yes, I don't really know. I mean, I don't understand necessarily why they vilify him. Perhaps I need to send a letter to the.
Well,
Soros
it's because he's
Foundation.
a Jew. He's a rich Jew.
He's a rich Jew. He's a rich liberal Jew. That's what he is.
That's all they need. I'm sure there, but I mean, there are a lot of them. Or a lot of them, I would think. Rich Jews, but you put the liberal part. That's probably.
But he might be the richest, though.
Maybe we'll just have to contact him and say, "Hey, brother, where's my check?"
Yeah,
man?
I'm still waiting on my check. Come on, George. Yeah. I'm waiting on my check here. I've been doing the work.
That's right. Right. I ain't pulling this sled for nothing. Yeah. So anyway, so we lost RGB, and now we have to face the. Now I don't. What do you guys know? Do you guys know anything about the lady that Trump has suggested?
There's a couple of ladies. From what I understand, they're all pretty much conservative. They're all meant to help win him the suburban mom vote. And of course, even a cursory look, I was looking into one of them and something or other. She looks very Karenish, if I'm going to use that term.
Okay.
Looks like she's ready. She's in her cul-de-sac, ready to call the cops on any errant black people.
Red hair or blonde hair?
Right. It's the reddish hair woman. Yeah.
Okay.
But she has a history of having church state issues, let's say, and she's part of some kind of crazy Catholic sect. And really hardcore, not like Mel Gibson crazy sect, but still pretty weird.
Yeah. We don't like that kind of person.
And whoever she is, she's going to pass that litmus test. Remember the litmus test that they always talked about Obama having, and they were railing against it. We all know what the Republican litmus test is. It's Roe v. Wade. She's going to vote a certain way, or she's not going to be on the court.
Well, I'll tell you this: if they get rid of Roe v. Wade, that means everything goes back to the states, right? I'll tell you that within a year or two, there'll be a federalization of anti-abortion laws, of anti-choice laws. So at one point, the conservative argument is going to be, we can't let the federal government be involved in this business, and so it's going to go back to the states. And then within a year or two after that, it'll be the fact that the federal government now does this hypocritical series of laws that just illegalizes abortion throughout the whole country.
Well, yeah, and I've heard that argument from leftists. Well, it's just going to go back to the state. It's not going to take away abortion. They make that argument to the people on the right, and I'm like, you guys are supposing that Republicans have honor or integrity, and we're seeing it right now. They don't. Yeah. They're going to be the fascists, and they're going to come after your abortion rights on the state level.
Yeah, easily, and they'll do it through the federal government too.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, all pretense of honesty has just gone out the window. Now, I don't even understand. It just kind of boggles me. I was raised a Christian. This is not the kind of Christian I was raised. As when I was a Christian, I would have not have fallen for this. Of course, I was never a one issue Christian. I wasn't you got to have my guns. Of course, you had 8 years of Democrats, and we did not come after your guns. We never came after your guns. So they just need to stop believing that. We never came after your guns. We don't force abortions on people. That's not even the you know what? How many places Planned Parenthood outfits were shut down that did not perform abortions? Oh, yeah. All they did was help women in need or poor women who had problems or issues.
Like abortions overall are like 3% of what Planned Parenthood does. It's not even the other narrative that the federal government is funding it, that's literally against the law. They're not allowed to do that.
Conservatives don't want to end abortion, because if they did, they would actually be doing the steps that actually prevent or help prevent abortion or the need for abortion. And it's clear, if you have a stable society, if you have good education, if you have good health care, if you have equal pay for women, people will make better choices. And you have good sex education. Those are the things that you do if you really want to limit the number of abortions.
Yes. Yeah. And they know it and still attack sex education and contraception. And like we were talking about this the other day. I'm trying to find this information because I've literally saw where some red states will limit the amount of contraception that can hit their store shelves. I mean, and making it much harder for people to find it if they need it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we've had disruptors in the chat. You've got your Jesus is Lord is watching.
Well, yeah, and I thought it was funny that Black Power tried to pretend not to be P. Mars, because I was literally part of the conversation where he told us he had a Black Power account and a White Power account, and everybody always bans the White Power account, but they never ban the Black Power. P. Mars, I'm on to you, dog. I know you, man. Come on.
Do they not? And of course, absolutely. Moderators, feel free. Just ban them. Yeah. I'm not. Listen, these are dishonest
Jill is
people.
Your all-time troll, yo.
Yeah, they do not care about honesty. These people do not care about honesty. They don't get a voice here. If they cared about honesty, they wouldn't support the McConnells and the Trumps. They just and all the lies. I've seen good Republicans, good conservatives who go, man, that's just not right, dude. We want this and we want that.
Maybe Jill? It wasn't PMARS. Maybe it was Jill that had the white power, black power thing. Yeah, so it could be Jill. Jesus is Lord.
Yeah, Jill. Yeah.
The troll of
Jill.
trolls.
Jill is new to Andy.
Nice.
Andy's never heard of Jill. Jesus is Lord is one of Rage's trolls. Actually, I suspected this was going to happen because the other day he left a post on one of our shows on the morning show. An actual comment after the show stating, well, if the Rage is on the show, that really says speaks volumes. And I'm like, what? Go away, dude. Just go away. I'm not here for you. This is not for a message for you.
He's one of my biggest fans. He loves me so much.
Yeah, apparently.
That's for you, Jill.
Yeah. So, I don't get it, though. They talk about, especially the ones who claim to be religious and claim about are you not honest? Are you not honest? Do you not appreciate honesty? Does Jesus not frown on lies? You can clearly see the lies, and yet they seem to follow them. They spout the lies themselves. Where's the conflict in that? Liars for Jesus.
You have liars
Islam has Takira,
Yeah.
Liars for Jesus, yeah.
And beyond, your chat is on him. Good job, chat. Because the last time I saw Jill in a chat, he was dancing on the grave of RBG, spitting on the grave of a woman, of a dead woman that hasn't even been dead yet. So yeah, Jill, you're not a good Christian. You never will be.
Never. There were things like, do you or do you not believe that a woman should be able to sign a lease without a man?
Yeah.
Sign it. If you believe that, then RGB did good. If it weren't for her, you would not have that.
Well, she also took a case talking about men's rights. The second case that she took to the Supreme Court was to support a man whose wife had died, and he wasn't able to get benefits from Social Security to raise his child.
Really?
And she brought that to the Supreme Court and won.
Good for her. Yeah. Well, yeah, she was about, that's one of the things I really appreciate about her was she really was about equality. She was representing a group of people that were being oppressed, but she was about equality across the board. Well, we will not get with that with a conservative.
She was literally the best thing Hillary Clinton had ever done, because we wouldn't have had RBG on the court if it wasn't for Hillary Clinton persuading Bill Clinton that this was the woman, because Bill was going to go with somebody else.
Yeah.
And then they started looking at RBG, and Bill was like, this is the girl, this is the woman. And that's all because of Hillary Clinton. So, I'm not a Hillary fan, but this is Hillary's legacy as much as it was RBG's.
But what about her emails?
Those damn emails.
I think part of the deal, part of the reason why they don't like her, of course, is that she was for women's rights whenever it came to things like abortion and taking her body. So that one topic alone is enough to vilify this poor woman who, without her, so many of the women who are against her would not have the things that they enjoy.
And they don't even know it. Yeah.
They don't even know it. They don't. Yeah. That's why I was looking for that meme. I'm sorry I didn't see it for you people. It was a list of rights that you as a woman would not have if it weren't for RGB, and they were rights like being able to sign your own lease. I'm going to throw a couple others out there because I don't remember what they were exactly. But so I'm just saying these are for examples. It's sort of almost like Saudi Arabia. Until RGB came along, a woman could not own her own business without a male co-signer. A woman, of course, that's not true. I'm already saying these are the kind of examples. That's why we need to find that, not just the meme, but that list. There's a list of rights that RGB gave you women, like the right to not have a man sign as a co-signer for you.
A lot of banks. Well, it was legal for a bank not to issue a credit card to a woman if her husband did not co-sign.
So if you have a credit card, if you can go down and apply for a credit card as a woman without your husband signing for you, or if you appreciate that right, RGB gave that right to you.
Well, and that was probably one of the saddest parts of the night, outside of her actually dying and getting that news, is when I finally did process it in my brain, and I went around to coworkers, especially young female coworkers, and I'm like, RBG is dead, and they're like, who? And I mean, it's just people don't know who they should really have as a hero. You know, they'll have the Kanye West and the Kardashians, but not know the people that actually fought for them to be able to be who they are in this modern day. It was very disquieting for me that nobody knew who she was. And I'm like, what?
It is not only a failure of the education system, but it is a failure of parenting too. Part of the job, when I send my kids to school, I have a fairly good idea what they're going to hear, and the important things that they need to know, they will not hear from school. They're not going to hear about the Catholic pedophile crisis. You know, they're not going to hear about oligarchy, or about RBG. So a lot of education does fall on the parents' shoulders.
Yeah. Well, we need changes in our country that I don't think are going to happen until after this next revolution. I see the South rising again. You guys know what I'm talking about when I say that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I see them losing again. And, oddly, like, these people don't know we have guns. And that's kind of sad because many of them want to engage us on a military level with guns, and yet they don't think we have guns. So
they think it'll be easy.
Right. So they think it's going to be easy. So it's not going to be easy. But really, listen, what I'm talking about, what I'm saying is these noble, honorable people are looking forward to slaughtering unarmed people. That's their thing. I've got guns. Liberals don't. I'm ready for this war. Let's go.
Well, yeah.
And what's going to happen in that? They're just going to point the guns at us? Is that what they sit around masturbating about while they rub their 9mm up against them? Is that what they think about? Is just no. They think about killing, and that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I hate to tell Jethro, you might have 2 or 3 shotguns, but if you're 450 pounds and you're creeping through the woods, we're going to hear you coming.
yeah, no doubt. Well, of course, these are also like the anti-maskers. Of course, it's all tied into religion. I think, of course, the right, the psychopathic right has used religion for a long time. And
without a doubt, yeah.
And when now they've got that. I hate to say this. Can you have an anti-abortion liberal?
Oh yeah,
is that possible? Or at least
I know a couple of them that are. Well, I won't say anti-abortion, but I'll say pro-life. But they're a lot more moderate on their stances than even a conventional moderate Republican would be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let me do some stuff here. I'm just checking on our things. Look, of course, we've got disruptors in the chat. Thank you, mods. I don't know, mods. If you have the chance to just delete them. Hide them from the channel.
Yeah, this is the first.
They don't untime out after 300 seconds. If they're going to keep creating different accounts, that's great, man. They make my traffic look fantastic. And it puts a lot of effort on them. So please, go ahead and just block them. This show is not for them. You're not going to get this message, religious people. You're not going to get it. Your brain is incapable.
Yeah, and this is the first real time that my trolls have really followed me over here. So I apologize for that. And time them out. Like, get rid of them. They're here to troll me, and they know that they can't get under my skin, so they're going to try to get under your guys' skin. So
we learn. We learn and we tell the chat about them. I anticipated that because you actually have a bigger following than I do. For those of you who don't know, Rage has a bigger channel than I anticipated you bringing trolls with, especially if they showed up first. But I also suspected you would bring followers and viewers, and they would enjoy. And then I would take some with you and do that wonderful thing. So I have got wonderful mods. I just need to let them know. Don't bother, especially on a day like today when they're going to keep creating different accounts.
Yeah. P. Mars has like 50 of them. Jill probably has about 150. So.
So make them go through that effort. But Dr. Mordecai, I think he's is he I don't know who he is.
It sounds familiar, but
he's a guy he's from my channel. He's a good guy overall.
Yeah. I think he looks familiar. I see that somebody deleted his message. I guess I could view the deleted message. I'm busy. Sometimes we talk about the chat. It's okay.
Well, and today is a day like we're all feeling this. It's not just us three feeling, we're all feeling it. Even some good people. I'm sure Trina DeLuca, a good person on the right, is feeling the loss of our RBG this morning.
She even mentioned earlier, she's like, "There's no way her husband is going to be on her credit cards. Hell no." Yeah. So of course, Trina DeLuca, though, one of the benefits, I think, the reason why she fits with us, her handshake is different than ours, but it does kind of fit, is because she's not a religious Christian or conservative, so she doesn't fall for all the baiting that the conservatives on the right use to motivate them, so she can see through that bullshit. I think that's great. Thank you, Ian Davenport, for the $5 Australian dollar sticker. Apparently I said something. Somebody said something funny. There's a funny sticker.
Well, yeah, and you had brought it up kind of earlier, Chris. This demonization or the right utilizing religion, it goes hand in hand. So we've had the right demonizing liberals, right? But at the same time, we have Christians demonizing secular society and atheists, and those go hand in hand. Now they've been lumped together, and politically, almost half the country is against secularism, which is what our country is. That is why we're having such an issue right now.
Well, as bad as this is something I got to admit. As bad as the right wants to change what our country was into what it's becoming, I got to be honest. As a person on the left, I wanted to change our country from what it was to where I wanted it to go.
Oh, me too, yeah.
Now my version was more Star Trek-y and theirs is more Mad Maxy.
Yeah.
Well, and people that argue like they want America to be great like it was in the past. Well, one, it was never great, but your whole point should be making a country better, not staying in the same spot. Like, what even is that? We change with time, everything changes. And our country needs to be a bit more hybrid and adaptable to the change of the times. And to me, that's what I've always been about. It's that Gladiator quote, there once was a dream that was Rome. No, there once was a dream that was America. And we're still trying to achieve that dream.
I'm glad you mentioned those sorts of things. One of the things people don't really realize that I'm studying Shakespeare because I'm a weirdo. And
you are.
Like Caesar was like, "Oh man, that's bad. Those people killed Caesar. That's bad." But really, if you knew what was going on, they had a republic where they had senators and stuff.
Julius Caesar was a bad guy.
And Julius Caesar was, although he did do some good things for Rome and enhanced Rome in some ways, his goal, or he was in the process of getting rid of the Senate and replacing it with himself as the king. And that's why they killed him. That's exactly what Trump is doing. And that's we just don't have Brute.
Oh,
where's Brutus when we need him?
yeah, we don't have Brutus, but unfortunately, we have the other guy. I can't remember the first real emperor's name. I'm sure you know, Andy. Augustus. Yeah, we unfortunately have Augustus, and her name is Ivanka. So.
Oh yeah, you're right about that.
True
you're right
enough.
about that.
Hey, Jadzia Dax, Star Trek fan studying Shakespeare. I actually got into Star Trek or Shakespeare because of Jean-Luc Picard. Whenever I was a teen, I was loving me some Star Trek, and I was like, what is this? And he was doing, Shakespeare on Star Trek. And so I do. Matter of fact, I recorded some Shakespeare yesterday. I'm going to, because I got to be honest, this is taxing. This political thing. I've been, now a lot of people have been in quarantine since like April, March, maybe April. I've been quarantined since like February. I get out every now and then, but
What's quarantine?
Yeah, and I'm just alone all the time, and I've been alone for months outside of these little interactions. And then of course all I get is this news. It's just hate news. So I've been trying to get away from this craziness with liberals and conservatives and just all this madness by working on my sci-fi channel and also doing some personal study on acting here at home. Just trying to get away.
If anyone's out there has ever seen I, Claudius, which in I, Claudius, it is a fantastic, it was done back in the day, but it's about the Roman Republic, Roman Empire, and Jean-Luc Picard with a full head of hair. Well, it's a wig and everything. He plays a member of the Praetorian Guard. It is definitely worth checking out. I, Claudius. Yeah, fun stuff.
There was I saw another movie with him, and it was King Lear. Patrick Stewart played in King Lear, and he had hair in King Lear too.
Yep.
I couldn't picture it.
It was yeah. So those are the kind of things, man. But back to the whole deal. So now we got to see what's going to happen this week. This is going to be a very interesting week because the conservatives are going to be coming up with excuses as to why they don't have to follow the same rules that they applied last time.
Oh, they already are. Mitch McConnell has sworn an oath that Trump will get his vote.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. I have no doubt at all.
What will be interesting? What will be interesting is if they don't get a Senate confirmation before November 3rd, and so you're going to have some lame duck Republican senators there, because there's going to be a bunch of new Democratic senators taking their seats. So you're going to have a bunch of these Republican senators who aren't going to be around, but have beef with Trump. I wonder how that's going to change, or if anyone's going to switch their votes to be against Trump's nominee just because of
I hope so.
vendetta. That's a real thing.
I hope so. But I'm also hearing, there's not much that Democrats can really do right now. I mean, basically, what we've got to turn 3 people, and the Democrat and the Senate have to stand united. But if we can win the Senate and the House and the presidency, well, we can add more justices to the courts. It does not have to be. There's no set number of justices. We can do that. So it's not game over.
Maybe
we got to fight.
We also want to limit it too.
I want to challenge the idea that do I believe that the Republicans ever tell their people there's nothing?
Well, I'm just saying we don't have the power like they did in 2016. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, we can't do what they did.
As I was prepping for the show this morning, just before the show, so I didn't get time to stop and watch it or anything like that. But it was this thumbnail on YouTube or Facebook or somewhere news. I don't know. I saw somewhere somebody was saying there were 6 different things that the Democrats can do to stop the Republicans from filling the seat. I don't know what those things were. I was getting ready for the show, right?
Oh, there's a lot of tactics.
Pop up this page, and I pop up this page, and I just happen to notice it. I want to know what those things are, and I want to know. You know what I want our people doing? Every single one of them. I want them working on if there's 6 different things, I want parties working on all, because they would.
And we need to be in the streets. We need to be in the streets showing them, hey, this is an important time right now.
Do what you can. Do what you can. If you can be in the streets, be in the streets. If you've got a voice, have a voice. If you've got a podcast, go talk about it on your podcast. Yep. If you've got an article you can write, go write your article. Go tell. Just scream this shit out to the world.
Incite a riot, yo. That's what I'm saying.
What we need. We need the good conservatives on our side to realize that the nation is being overthrown. There is a coup that's in process. And they're not
time
on the same team.
Time to stop being nice.
It's time to stop. They need to be on our team. If they love America and they love the Constitution and they want America to be what it's supposed to be. There's a difference between a bipartisan country. We're supposed to be a bipartisan country. There's supposed to be both of us. But people on the right want just people on the right. We've seen what happens whenever the people on the right get their way to the ultimate of the only us. They don't live and let live over there. They actually go kill those other people over there. Is a habit that they tend to have. So it's scary. So, guys, we've nearly made the hour. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up just a tiny bit early. Andy, what do you got going on in the next couple of days? You got anything going on?
I am getting my activist game on with Extinction Rebellion, the premier environmental group internationally.
Can we talk about that on the show? I would like, because I may want to join them, but I don't know.
I'm taking a bunch of different online classes. I'm taking a class on Wednesday on Extinction Rebellion strategic theory, because they do have a strategic theory about how you try to activate people within your own clique, and you don't argue with naysayers or people who are anti-environmentalists, because you're wasting your time. So I'm going to learn about their theory. I'm also going to be doing a protest in a nearby city on Friday, and and doing a community online session on Thursday. So getting into that community, and what I'm trying to do and what I'm hoping to do is to take that wisdom that I've learned there and try to share it with all of you. So there you go.
There's a good, yes, awesome. Hey, Rage, what about you, brother? You got anything special going on?
I'm taking a day off today. I'll be back at it tomorrow. But yeah, nothing too special. Trying to do a lot more open rooms. So if you're interested in having conversations, catch one of my open rooms, come in and talk.
Cool.
Awesome. Yeah, I enjoy it. You know me, I enjoy when I catch it. So, all right, guys, everybody, you have a wonderful day. I need to get some content up. I'm going to do more stuff. And, me and the guys are talking about doing something with the show.
With your brain? Because it looks like
brain.
you're doing something with your brain right here.
My brain is falling out my ears. These are not earbuds. These are just liquid brain.
That's how I felt yesterday. I was so done yesterday.
Absolutely. All right, guys, I am off to save the world. Thank you to everybody in the damn nation for stopping by and chatting with us. And thank you to people listening on the Daily Atheist Morning Show podcast and to people on Facebook. Man, you guys are wonderful. We will see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Take care.
Be strong.
Thank you for watching the show. A special shout out to my gold level Patreon supporters, Ian Davenport, Cindy Plaza, and tons of mice. Thank you and have a great day.